Hello, and welcome to this third episode of Local Legends. This is your host, Myra, and I'm sitting here with Julian, known as Mantacore Online. Yeah, introduce yourself.
So as Myra said, my name is Julian. I've been going by Mantacore for pretty much my time here in FGC. And I'm kind of on this podcast because I do a lot of photography for the local scene within the New Jersey space. And kind of like background on me, I was introduced to the FGC, kind of like did a lot more stuff with FGC around the 2019, 2018 era of like the locals. I was playing a lot of like Soul Calibur 6 and mainly playing as a player. But after like COVID and like the local scenes kind of died down and started getting resurrected, that's when I kind of wanted to get back in the scene and then see like what I could do within that like time skip. I started getting into photography at the time, and it's just a nice little hobby that I like doing. I take pictures of like anything really, my pets, family, friends, fashion. And I was kind of thinking, I went to my first local post-COVID. I'm like, there's not anyone really covering like the local scene. Like you see photos.
So what was it exactly that got you into specifically like event photography at these like really like big fighting events? You've come out to multiple Iron Grids. I just saw you recently at Frosty Faustings.
So like I kind of noticed like for the FGC as a whole, like a lot of the social media presence is for majors, like the really big events, Combo Breaker, Evo, CEO. Like there's a lot of coverage there, but there's not too much coverage for locals, right? So I kind of wanted to bring like my passion for fighting games and like photography in like kind of the same circle, where it's like, okay, let me try taking photos of like the local scene and like showcase like, hey, this is like the NJ FGC, right? This is us. This is like the faces you'll see, and this is kind of what we do. And I kind of want to shed some light with like, it's not just the big celebrations. It's not just the big tournaments that we have like yearly. It's the weeklies that we have, the monthlies that we have within like a state, right? And like, here's events, and hopefully it attracts more people to these events and like contribute to like the FGC as a whole, right?
Yeah. What was the first event that you like went out to photograph, like at a local level?
It's actually Saikyo with like Nate and his
Oh, you're
run.
right. Yeah, the Saikyo Summit on Sundays. Yes.
Yeah, so it was like super close to me. I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Like, I was kind of shy with like taking pictures, but again, it's a community that I know and love, and something I'm very comfortable being around. So I decided to just like start taking shots and like, yo, this is kind of looking pretty good, and decided to just like take these pictures and then put them out on like Twitter, Instagram, get like some social pull. And that's where I met you and like Jordan and the whole like crew for like the FGC. And I kind of just did it every week, like just constant, like, hey, here's local, here's like the pictures I took. And the feedback I was getting was like pretty great. I knew it was like gonna be small. Like I was doing it just because I enjoyed it. But as time kind of went on, it started getting a lot more traction, where it's like to the point where I would go to like a big local or monthly, and like completely random person would be like, oh, you're Mantacore, you're the guy that like takes photos, like I really like your shots. And I think that's kind of like what I'm accomplishing like here, is like, hey, here's more light on like a local scene, and that's like important, right?
Absolutely. And so obviously you started to get into a little bit what you had felt is like the importance of the work that you do. If you'd like to, just please elaborate like a little bit more on like what this work like means to you, and just how you feel that it is bringing a positive impact to the community.
Okay, so again, like a lot of it is like I do it as a hobby. Like I do this because I love the community. I love fighting games. Photography is something that I'm trying to learn and be better at, and this space allows me to kind of just be comfortable, be with friends, and like take pictures of them. It also like, it's nice to like take photos of players that don't usually get that spotlight, because like again, for like majors, it's like there's a lot of people, there's like thousands of players there, and a lot of photographers are usually going to go for like top level players and like players that are known, right? Because it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for like a local scene, it's like, hey, like damn, like yo, I'm on this dude's like photo album, and like this is a really nice photo, and like they use it for like their social media and like their profile picture, and that makes me feel like pretty content. Like, oh, I'm glad these people are like enjoying my work that I'm putting out there, and I'm getting like a lot of feedback. And it also helps the community because, like, for instance, Iron Grid, it's a monthly, and we're getting pictures, and we're allowed to like repost that to the world. Like, hey, we're a really big like monthly in Jersey. Like, everyone should pull through. Like, we're having a great time, and like it's a nice safe space to come like enjoy fighting games, play your bracket, and chill with the homies. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've used your photos and some promotional material. I've even been using your photos as the covers of these like of the thumbnails for the other 2 episodes of this podcast on YouTube. Because I interviewed Jordan. There's obviously you've taken so many great shots of him. I interviewed Fever, and Fever, he's the guy behind the camera. Typically, there aren't very many shots of him because the photographers are so busy like running around in other places.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to be like, oh wow, I have really good photos to work off to use for Fever's photos, for Jordan's photos, and these are the guys behind the scenes like doing all the work. And I feel like it's really cool that you take the time out of your time at an event to like really capture those moments as well.
Yeah, no, now that you mentioned it, I also love taking pictures of like the support cast, like, yeah, literally the people running the streams, the TOs. Like, a bulk of like a tournament's work is all through them, right? Like, they're doing all the heavy lifting. Of course, they need to be like represented in like photos. That's why like I gotta make sure to bring them in, right? Not just the players, right? Like, I try to include as much as possible for everyone and like showcase like this is us. It's like one big family. So that's kind of what I want to like show with my photos. Like, yeah, we're kind of like kicking each other in bracket, and it might be salty in the moment, but like when the salt fades, it's like it's all family. Like, everyone knows each other. It's one big like community that everyone should be accepted in, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Is there any like one specific shot that you're really proud of? And I guess now that I'm asking you, if you would like to like send it my way so I can include it in the throughout the video as well, in the podcast while we talk about it. But if there's one in particular
like
that you're like, this was such a good moment, I'm so glad like I was there in the moment to catch that.
I think one of the first pictures I thought was really good was with like DJ and Kaito. I think they were doing like commentary for one of the older Saikyos, but it was just something with them like getting so hype, and like DJ's like hugging Kaito, and I was able to get like this picture, and it was just so like good. Like, it was a perfect picture, and it kind of encapsulates like what it feels like to be at a local watching fighting game and watching like an insane match going on, and like, yo, this is crazy. Like, absolutely love that photo. I've taken so many photos like I've been working with you guys for like the past year about.
Yeah, just about, because it was Saikyo Summits in the summer, and then it was literally just like whatever we've been doing, you've been there. So all the Iron Grid since
yeah, so there's a lot of
the
photos.
events in between. Oh my god.
Like, I have like a whole hard drive just filled of like photos. Like, some haven't even seen, like I haven't even put out there. They're just sitting there. Like, oh, there's a lot of photos, but definitely there's a ton. Like, I can't even name them all. There's a lot of pictures I've taken of you and Jordan. A lot of pictures I've taken of like just players like popping off. I think one of my favorite recently actually was a match with like KDZ and another player for like Street Fighter. I think it was No Fox Given was the event, and like it was KDZ losing, and you could just see his face just like it's so salty. Like, it's bad, and he's like looking away, throwing his head for the handshake, and the other player's like, yo, give me that handshake, like, I beat you, like, give it to me right now. Super sick.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think your work captures like a lot of like the emotion of players, like especially in these like very exciting, or for KDZ in that exact moment, a very devastating moment. And I think it's so cool that like you're able to tell these stories like through your work. With the rise of the popularity in online events, how do you feel that like photographing these like offline events, and like especially like smaller local events, brings back the like the magic, or I guess like the whimsy of the offline event?
Of like offline FGC events. So, kind of the standpoint that I see like fighting games and why I enjoy it so much. To me, I think like fighting games is the ultimate like esports. It's the one, and a part of that is because of its own community. It's very like grassroots. It's very much like everyone is allowed to compete at the same event, which is like super important, because like most of the big esports like out there are all like invitational or like big team events.
Yeah, no, you're locked to like tryouts, being part of a league, and it's just it like I started originally in Overwatch. And so, like, as a high schooler on an Overwatch team, I was like, oh, there's a very high chance that unless I make top 500, I am never getting signed to an Overwatch team.
Exactly. It's like literally you have to be a professional from the get and be like invited to a team to play at a high level with other professionals. Whereas like the FGC, it's literally like you go to like an event and one of the best is like in your bracket, right? And you get to play with them. And kind of like circling back at that, I think like between like offline and like online, it kind of loses that sense of magic where it's like online's like you play the game. It's kind of like you're missing half the component of like what is important about a FGC like local, because the whole point of it, like to me at least, and how the FGC got me like hooked and how I got hooked into fighting games was like you go to your local, meet the homies, you play your bracket, right? Like you've been training like your whole week, and then you go to your local, you play the bracket, see how well you did against like some players. There might be like a player that you can't beat in bracket, and you might beat them that 1 week, right? And you get to talk about it after the local is done, right? You get like your casuals in, and you're chilling after the local, and usually like you hang out after you clean up, you get some dinner afterwards, and you're like laughing about what happened between the last like local, right? Or like where your progress has been made, or like you could talk to a mentor that you might possibly have like, hey, like I was playing pretty bad, like is there any advice that you give me? I feel like you kind of lose that in online. Like I guess you could get that with like Discord calls or something like that, but
I feel like it's not a fair comparison.
Yeah,
like
it's like that human touch, right?
That's the thing. Like when I first started, like I started playing fighting games during COVID. I started like I think it was like early 2020, like late 2019, and so it was like in that era, all I knew were online tournaments. I didn't know what an offline was. I didn't know what a local was. I'd never been to one, and so. In those days, like, yeah, I would sit in a Discord call with my friends. We'd play in bracket, probably, maybe not the same bracket. We played different games, and it was just, it didn't have that touch. I felt like there was something missing.
Yeah, like, it's great that online matchmaking has become so much better where you could actually do that online. And, like, we have tools that allow us to, like, communicate with each other kind of very, like, the similar way. But it's not the same as, like, you see the homie pulling up to the local, he's about to play his match and everyone's getting hype around him. There's like a whole crowd behind like you or your friend, and they're all enjoying or like rooting for one player, and like another group of people are rooting for the other player, and it gets like super hype, like grudge match, like yo, this dude's about to kick this dude's ass. Like it's really like cool to see at like in person, right? That energy you can't really get in like watching it online or just having like a match over Discord, right? It really isn't the same. And again, the sense of community I feel is greater when it's in person. It's again that human touch where it's like you get a greater sense of community and like you're hanging out, literally doing other things other than fighting games too afterwards, right? It's like you're not just playing the game, you're also making friends there. And like I've made some lifelong friends through the FGC, and I think that's super important. So to kind of like rope back to like your original question of like how does my work impact like online versus offline events, like I'm trying to kind of showcase a little bit of that like magic of like locals. Like yeah, like online tournaments, great, fantastic that you can compete and like get your training there, but I think it's still important to seek out your locals or like make a local for wherever you are, because it makes like that experience like so much better. You're not just like sitting at your desk alone, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing. Like I know playing fighting games online gets me super salty because there's no human interaction. I'm like, damn, this dude's like doing some crazy like thing and like I can't do anything about it, and it's like you don't get the immediate feedback, whereas like a local you could literally just ask the person after the set, or like play casuals with the same person that you might have lost to and like not understood a matchup, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and you make friends that way. That's like the most important thing, is like the human interaction is like crucial, I think. And again, I'm trying to show that in my photography and like my posts like on social media, like hey, like we're kind of a big family. Like everyone kind of knows each other. a lot of my photos features the same players, the same people that like are a part of the community. And that's like the main thing I want to like show is just like, yeah, like we're a community and like everyone's like chill, and like
Yeah, no,
feel free to come.
absolutely. I personally really love the photo that you took of like the Iron Grid crew
Yeah.
because that like those guys have become like my family at this point.
Exactly.
It's like we get together every month, we do the same thing, and it's so like nice to have this like group of people that are like dedicated to like helping this event run well. And like I use that photo a lot to just like kind of show like, hey, this is the team, this is what we do, and this is so awesome that we can all like put this like I have a heavy like extensive background in theater, so like I treat Iron Grid the way that I would treat like a run of a show. Like we
Like the
put
full
this
production.
yeah, the full production. Like the week leading up to Iron Grid is my tech week, and I'm like freaking
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so as someone with such like a heavy background in like theater, I draw like a lot of the parallels there, and I just think it's like really cool that we can like sit down together and like obviously even like theater productions they have like their own like photo crew where it's like, hey, like these are photos like from the show, these are photos of the set, and I really do enjoy how you have been able to like capture just like all angles of it.
Yeah. And just like the whole event that you're like talking about, the monthly, it kind of feels like a family gathering. Like we even have food, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone gets like a plate of food. Like
Shout out WJTB Radio, they provide the food.
it's great. Like it's just a fun time where like everyone has a plate of food. They have their drinks and like they're watching like their matches. There's like the top 8 on like the big stream. It's like a great time. Like and you really can't get that online.
Last
like,
month people had like begged us to put on WrestleMania, so that was the thing.
yeah,
we had put
like there was like 3 like stream setups. And the third
we
stream
got
was just
so many.
WrestleMania.
We got so many DMs of people going like, "Hey, are you gonna throw WrestleMania on the big screen? Can someone throw WrestleMania on the big screen?"
Yeah, you guys were doing it. They were getting hype over there as like we were playing sets of like Tekken and like Street Fighter. So like that's just you can't get that online.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely
there's no way.
not.
There's no way. And like that's what I hope. Like I hope like the photos like help people kind of be like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like I kind of want to like pull through and like see what it's about, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, especially like seeing the photos of like Iron Grid like at its like peak when we have like 150
When you have a
people in
lot
that
of
room.
players, it's like super fun to take pictures because like everyone's like they got their serious face on. They're ready to like climb through the bracket and like do their best.
And it's like those photos that I love like showing to like other people. Like, yeah, like this is our event, and I'm so like proud to show that off because like wow, we pull like over like 200 people in a month of just like, hey, just come sit down, play fighting games, and it's like simple as that. And so seeing photographs of like Iron Grid at its like I'm gonna call it like at its peak time, it's so like insane to me because like you say like 150 people and seeing a visual of it like really like makes it real. Like seeing all of the people in that photo is like, holy cow, there's so many people
Like that
here.
room is packed and like the setups, there's a lot of setups. The room gets pretty hot. But like seeing that amount of people and one local is pretty amazing. And like again, that sense of community where it's like you start to see the same people. And when you meet someone new, it's like, hey, like what's up? Like what game do you play? You kind of get them roped into the community and like have them sort of like they might play a certain character and like your boy might play the same character and they need like some tips to like figure out and get better with like side character, and you could like hook them up and now they're friends and like it kind of snowballs over there and you start seeing them every week. And like I think that's the best feeling is like you see someone brand new and then you start seeing them weekly and they just become like one of the usuals that like eventually a friend, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate you coming on and doing this interview. Obviously, appreciate your work. I've used it as a thumbnail for the other episodes with my other interviewees. But before we go, is there any last thing you want to plug? Plug your socials, events you're going to be at. The floor is yours.
Oh, of course. So my main like photography page is my Instagram. It's manta.raf, RAF. And I'm also on Twitter, Mantacore19. I usually post like all my photos there. As for events, I will be at DIY, be covering that, and then probably Combo Breaker is like my next big event. And I know you guys are doing Iron Grid on May 10th, so I'll most likely be there
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, May is a busy month, so I'll
Yeah,
definitely
no.
be taking a lot of photos soon.
We're
Yeah.
hitting what is sort of like peak season for like fighting games right now. So like this is when like all the events are like coming back into like full swing. It's the summer. People are out of school. People are like probably getting breaks off work, and so it's really cool to see like our like I guess our busy season like really kick off.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. I'm super excited. I haven't done like a full run of just tournaments in a whole year, so looking forward to it and looking forward to covering as much as I can.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate it,
Well,
Manta.
Myra, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, and I'll see you in the next one.